Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on Simply Jewel Atypical Podcast, where we talk about life struggles, encompassing health, wellness, and alternative approaches to medicine naturally. Your host is Simply Jewel. So let's get ready to heal the mind, body, and soul. She's atypical of the average. SimplyJewel.com.
Oh, hey, you're on.
I got it. Right after I sent the text, it popped up.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to Simply Jewel Atypical Podcast. But first, let's just let everyone know who you are. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and we'll get into it.
All right. Well, my name is Aya Tierra, formerly known as Tierra Ellis. I'm with LBT Self-Care, formerly known as Love by Tierra Skincare. I guess that's really all I have to say about me so far.
Okay, well, welcome. Like she said, she's now with LBT Self-Care. So Tierra, let's just start from the top. Tierra and I are going to talk about self-care, how we encourage healthier lifestyles. Who knows, we may get into some homeopathic care, herbal remedies, different services. But if we run out of time, everyone, just know that we'll do more sessions just so that we can bring awareness to the community and the importance of self-care. So, Tierra, let's start off by telling them LBT Self-Care. Well, tell us how you changed your name and what you're going to be doing to move forward.
Okay. I let's just go back real quick to 2019 when I officially made Love by Tierra, because I had been making my skincare and homeopathic remedies like topicals and salves and things like that for my children for years. And I moved out to Colorado, and I was encouraged by the group of individuals that I was surrounded by at that time to start my business. And so I did. But I only started with butters and a couple of homeopathic things. Fast forward, I always wanted it to be self-care, because I've really been a huge advocate of mental health, emotional health, physical, just, holistic health, especially in my experiences of life, because of my experiences of life, excuse me. So I wanted to shorten it because Love by Tierra was a long website, long email. And
Okay.
I've decided to just shorten it. So LBT is still Love by Tierra. It's just basically my DBA. So it's LBT Self-Care now, because I not only offer those butters, cough syrup, deodorant, etc. I also have services to help manage stress, to energetically align, and heal traumas, and help people find their life purpose, and all those great things that has to do with self-care.
Nice. So now that's one of the things that I think we have like minds about, is that the fact that we promote self-care, healing, spirit, just mind, body, soul awareness. So that was one thing. Now, going back, lbtselfcare.com.
Oh, it's lbtself.care.
Okay, LBT self dot care. I'll put that in the description box for those who want to visit your website. And one thing I will say now, what really got me is that, people used to make fun of me, and I would say, go hug a tree. It gives you energy, feel natural, feel the earth. And I went to your website and I see you hugging a
Hugging
tree.
the tree. Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Okay, well, my name, my birth name is Tierra, which is earth, land. So I already had connection with Mother Earth, the tree. And as I've grown in my business, I decided to start, like, my merchandise, deeply rooted clothing. Um, and I've just been so aware of how we are connected to everything, especially Mother Earth, which is why my name is Tierra, and why my name changed to Aya Tierra. Is Aya means rooted, deeply rooted. It is the roots of the tree, and we have to
Nice.
be able to ground ourselves, from our source. We all came from the dirt. We all have all of these elements, from these rocks to the dirt and the trees. We we are all made up of the same things. So a lot of times, you know, when we are really overwhelmed, when we shoot, or even just not feeling well, we can go to mother. We can go to mother and sit and feel and be grateful, just for one, that tree is, creating oxygen for you to breathe. For two, it's giving life to other animals, giving them a home, shelter, food. It's doing so much for you. That one tree that stands still, sturdy, that takes years to even become my height, which is only 4'9". you know
Nice.
yeah, it takes so much. And just to honor what we really are, to be honest. I I hug trees.
See, and now I can relate to that. It's the positive things, and I think when I first met you, we met at a pop-up, and you said such positive things, and I was like, that's a good place to connect and meet like-minded people, and then you grow supporting one another. And so it just felt right, to connect with you and to help each other along the journey. Because when I say certain things, people they look or listen, and they're like, oh, she's so positive, and nobody, when you're going through, you don't want to be positive all the time. But what I find is, you've got to be positive going through the journey. You've got to be positive going through the storm so you can get through it. And, to meet someone who thinks like I think, or feels a connection, or feel the same way they feel about Mother Earth. And I liked what you just said, when you need to connect to something, you know, go to Mother Earth.
Hmm.
That to me was powerful, because I've never said it that way, but that's powerful to me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. I I've gotten so much solitude, so much peace, so much reassurance in nature. Um, I've gone through a lot of tough times, and to know that, I'm still taken care of by this beautiful universe, by the almighty source. you know
And let's dig into that a little deeper, because I did say, last week I want to just start talking about life. Let's just talk about life, because people, they're following all these social platforms and they're listening to gossip, but are they really talking about what they do to sustain themselves, or what are they doing once you go through something? And they always say, well, you don't have a testimony unless you've gone through something. Well, everybody doesn't know that part. So how exactly, and just elaborate, like let people um hear, like you said, you've been through a lot, and how do you know that you're being carried by something bigger than you or myself?
Well, okay, I'll okay, I will only go back 5 years because oh man, so much. But let's just talk about me coming out here to Colorado. Um, there are so many things that I can divulge, but Spirit says just to hold some things back. So I
Right,
will say
right.
that I came out here. This is my second time moving out here. The first time, I was pregnant with my youngest, and we left a month before she was born, so that went back home so I can have my baby where I was comfortable, safe, and around family.
Hmm.
But wanted to come back and had an opportunity to come back. But that didn't mean that we really had a place to live. We had anything stable. No. Now, at this point here, I have 3 children. I'm with the youngest two father, and it's not a real healthy relationship. My family is wondering, you know, um, why am I doing this? And I'm like, well, maybe I have enough strength this time to actually leave. Well, just rewind real quick. The first time we came, and because reason why I'm rewinding is because I brought up how much sanctuary I have in nature. The first time we came, I was pregnant with my youngest, with their father, of course, again, homeless, worse, even worse than the second time. Okay, just really bad. No money, no nothing. But
Yeah.
the moon led. I just I paid attention to the stars and listened to the spirit and listened to, just guidance. And that was directed to this pawn shop where, I had him go in there. And so he just so happened to have camping stuff. Never went camping ever, but something told me we are going to go camping. I told him to go to this pawn shop, find a pawn shop. I found one, went to that pawn shop. I guess there was a storm a week before, so the manager just had a whole bunch, had everything we needed, and we had just enough money to buy that stuff. And then and being that I didn't know how to really cook outside, I was like, find electric stuff, we can find a campground. And I find a burner, found a burner Walmart, got another tent, a smaller tent for the because we had one of his children with us at that time. And I remember laying there pregnant with all these kids.
Wow.
In a tent for the first time. Some random, he saw us struggling, he helped us put our tents up. And I was just overwhelmed with gratitude because we didn't have no money. His mom, everybody was sending us money, okay, live day by day, and it was $100 here, this and that and the other. So the fact that we had just enough to be able to have everything that we need and have a place to stay, and have food stamps to go feed the children, and I can cook outside and I can wash, and I've never done this before, but I did it.
Right.
And got through it. And so fast forward, when the second time I was like, oh, we can be homeless. I got a little bit more of a plan this time than last time. I was just following you stupidly, but this time I got a plan. I'm leaving you. Okay? But we're going to do this. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And all I can say is one blessing after another. And even in the biggest thing was, it would seem like when one door closed, when something tragic was about to happen. So, for instance, he came out here for a job. It wasn't like it was a cable hooking up job. So if you go out there and they don't need him or don't be there or something, he don't get paid. So when we left with a car that we need to pay for, and they tracked us at the shelter, and it was so ironic. Again, this high note, Spirit got me. I had my baby's car seats and everything in there. First off, the brakes broke the day before, but I thought I was stupid. I thought I would be smart enough to be able to be okay just to get to major places. But no, Spirit protected me and took our car the next day. But I just so happened to walk outside of our room and see them taking it, so I was able to get all our stuff out the car. You know,
Wow.
they were taking that car back to Iowa. Okay, like I wasn't. I wasn't. So all of it, I was able, just so happened to get everything out. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to move out here was to be healthier. You know, in Iowa, I went through major depression due to the season changes. Winters are long and the sun isn't out. I did a lot of research why I really wanted to be here. And I feel like I'm talking too much, so I'm going to wrap this up soon.
No, you're fine. I mean, listen, one thing I know for sure, two things for certain, you know, we have stories to help other people. And so feel free. You're in a safe place here and you can speak however you want to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate that. I know I can speak too, so I'd be like, "Ooh, let me slow down." Okay.
That's okay. We're gonna have to have you back on, but we'll get through this, and we'll have a few more things, and we've got a little bit of time. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so like I was saying, I was very grateful. The second time, I knew I was good. I was able to get through this car being towed. I knew I wanted more healthier, so I saw it as a blessing, even though it was bad. You know how it all happened, and it didn't feel so good. You know, I had to walk more. You know, I had to be more active. I wanted to be a bike rider. You know, out here, because I know Colorado is one of the most, natural states. Everybody ride their bikes, especially in Boulder. So
Right.
I was just like, this is what I had already envisioned before coming out here. I didn't think, I was going to lose a car and this stuff would, you know what I'm saying? That I'm walking there. And mind you, it's so funny because while I was walking and all that stuff, oh honey, I still was big. I wouldn't start losing weight until I start losing stress, until the universe taking care of me. I was holding on weight of fear and anxiety and depression and not feeling good enough and all that other stuff. But, I got through it because I was learning to be grateful. My grandma always said, be positive. And I love when I meet people who remind me of my grandma because I love her to death. And she just taught me so much. She's really the reason why I am a person. I have acknowledged my life purpose as being a person of service. But I've learned that because it used to irritate me. I used to hate it. Granny, stop saying that. Be positive. You tell me I'm not supposed to feel how I feel. Like, but it is true. But I didn't want to put myself in such a box of having to be positive. It's okay to feel how I feel. Because when I was trying to just be positive, I would just shut off my emotions. And I just got to get through it because God got it. But it's okay for me to feel. Yes. And it's okay for me to acknowledge that this don't feel good, but this is really for my good. And I can see why. And a lot of times it's hard for us to be like, hey, my situation in general, I wanted to be more active. You know what I'm saying? And I was being stubborn anyways. Them brakes broke, okay? You felt them. You know you shouldn't be driving. That's number one. And that was already strike one. Spirit was trying to tell you, start walking like you said you wanted to. Oh, you're not going to do that? Okay, so I'm going to take this from you then, because you need to be healthy. You came out here for this lifestyle. You might as well start now, and I had to see that. It didn't feel good. Oh goodness. I was extremely embarrassed, but grateful I wasn't at home going through this, because if I was at home, I wouldn't be going through this. Come on, I have family. They're not gonna let they're not gonna let me and my children, but that's why I'm out here, because I'm tired of being coddled. I'm tired of depending on all my help outside of me, and my help is really internally, because I'm connected to all is always going to take care of me, so I don't need to have the security of my family. I'm always okay no matter where I'm at.
Wow.
So to answer that question,
That's powerful. That's powerful because you acknowledge that. See, what some people don't. And then back to what you said as far as being positive. Yes, it's good to be positive, but to acknowledge that it doesn't feel good. Because when you're healing, it doesn't feel good. But
Mm-mm.
what I liked and what I heard you say was that you at least knew where your help was coming from. A lot of people don't know where their help is coming
Right. And that's very true. Um,
from. Wow, powerful. Well, let me ask you this. Um, so now you have this gift. I won't say now you have it, but let's talk about the gift of self care in your spiritual guide. So your spiritual guide is acknowledging that you've always connected to Mother Earth, and then you encourage the healthy lifestyle, like you wanted to live a healthy lifestyle. So let's talk about how you started doing homeopathic care. Where did that come from?
um, Another traumatic moment in my life. My youngest, well, my second child, he had really bad eczema. All through his infancy, I used to say he had alligator skin. It was,
Oh, wow.
um, and the doctors, you know, it just, it was steroids, really bad cream that bleaches the skin. Um,
Mhm.
and I went through just all different types of things with my kids. When my youngest, she had intussusception. We didn't know for like 6 months. So from about 6 months to a year, because on her first birthday is when, because I had a dream that my baby was about to be taken from me. Um, but because I used to go to the hospital every night, it was just so much. But anyways, on her first birthday, I went there and I just lost it at the same hospital y'all always see me at, and y'all always trying to say something to me like I don't know, like this is my first child or something. This number 3. What are you talking about? And they told me, they said this night when they finally said, okay, we'll give you an X-ray, but it can only be one thing, and it's very rare, and I doubt she has it. Tell me why my baby had it. Now, when I say 6 months of projectile vomiting, of all night screaming, of bloatedness, doctors are going. We're going to all her. Look. I used to do vaccines. I used to go to. Excuse me. I still go to all their wellness checkups, and all of that stuff. But I used to do all that stuff, and immediately something goes wrong, I'm going to the doctor. Oh my gosh, what am I supposed to
Oh,
do?
yeah. Ready
And
to
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, yeah, I mean, we've been conditioned to go to the doctors and we've trusted the doctors for many of years. But like you say, people are going back to homeopathic remedies. People are going back to ancestral remedies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
It just was something that switched off in me. So that day they finally did the X-ray. They found that they rushed us out of town. Now, like I said, I'm all night screaming, crying, uncomfortable, bloatedness, projectile vomiting when she eats. We drive in, and I'm talking to the EMTs while we're driving out of town, and it was a glorious conversation. I wish I could remember, but it was a very healing atmosphere. Okay. No, my baby was quiet the whole time, so I was like, well, she must be asleep. I'm so grateful. Okay. My baby she had those IVs and stuff in her arm, but I thought she was asleep. We get to the hospital, get back there, my baby's wide awake, and the guy said, no, she was up the whole time. She was just sitting here. I'm like, what? We go and they do another X-ray because they're supposed to do the procedure, but they have to do the X-ray again, to make sure. Take her back. They show me both of them. Okay. I see the one where her intestines are folded over, and I see where she's clear.
Wow.
And my children's father at that time was really big on trying to get me to be natural anyways. We were going through all that stuff with my son, but after that, I was convinced. I don't know what it was, but it was just like, it's like, I was so mad at God for a moment. Like, why would you put me through that? Like, I mean, it was horrible. And it just reversed. And after that, I didn't do no more shots. We would give her prune juice, that day or two, of course we gave her suppositories and things like that to help her poop. you know, did what we had to do, all the massages and stuff like that. But after that, I was done. I went to the doctors. They started, a little bit later, they had ear infection or and an eye, pink eye. I went to the doctor. They prescribed the medicine. I didn't take the medicine. Again, I do higher power, but my ancestors, they work heavy with me. Because I didn't know none of this stuff. Prior to any of this. And I did some essential oil stuff, and you did some research, and I'm telling you, I got rid of it. They went back to refinement, but they didn't take the in the antibiotics.
Okay, so when you did essential oils, did you put it on the body, on the bottom of the feet? Because, like, for pink eye, for example, it's been said and proven, and many have used just tea bags on the eye.
On the eyes, yep. Okay, so of course you have to have a carrier oil. And at that point, all I really did was, I used coconut oil all the time. So I had coconut oil. Lord forgive me, I don't really remember what all the essentials, but it was very simple. What I used, and I just put it around because your pores are open. It seeps through. You don't need to put it in your eye. So I put it around the socket. You know what I'm saying? I think I did that around 3 times a day. And that was it. But
nice. And things started healing, and you were doing. So we'll have to come on another podcast and talk about different things that we've tried and found true. And let's just put the disclaimer out there: we're not doctors, but we have alternative approaches for others, and or we can simply move all this to patreon.com/simplyjewel. That is another platform that we use so that we can be more intimate, and also for those who want to take this serious. And also, let's just say we'll come back and we'll have you on again so that we can talk about other journeys, life experiences, and if anybody else would like to come on and talk with us, you can always get in touch with me at simplyjewel.com. You can email me. That is also on the contact information. So we'll be glad to have others come on, and we'll figure this thing out. Maybe when you come on, maybe we can have callers. We can just try a new way of connecting with people and talking about self-care and just a different vibe, let's just say. But is there anything you want to say on this segment? We've got a few minutes where you can let me know what you think, or tell us what you want us to know. And would you be willing to come back on again and speak?
Well, I would absolutely love to come back. Thanks for listening to me chatter. I really appreciate you, Jewel. You are such a beautiful soul. I enjoyed talking to you and hearing about your story, and your makeup line, because that just blew me away.
Thank you.
Yes. For me, she gave you the website. That is lbtself.care. I am on Instagram, LBT Self-Care, and Facebook is still Loved by Tierra Skincare.
Okay, great. And that's what we'll do. We'll put all of that on the in the description box below. We'll look forward, and for the listeners, listen, follow me on simplyjewel.com. That's where all the social platforms are. You can follow me on Instagram at IamSimplyJewel.com. We're on YouTube, Simply TV. And like I said, just go to simplyjewel.com. All the social platforms are there. You don't want to miss our next episode. I'm going to have Tierra back on. And also, if anybody's wanting to come on, feel free. You have been listening to Simply Jewel, a typical podcast. Okay, Tierra, thanks for coming on, and stand by. Um, we'll talk a little bit more, okay?
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.